Preparing high-protein, high-fiber meals doesn't have to be complicated. In this video, I'll show you this simple recipe that will help you reach your protein and fiber goals with simple ingredients using whole foods and 100% plant-based. We talk a lot about protein, but fiber is just as important, and today's recipe is going to address both. First up, you want a nice red onion. This is a pretty good size. I'm just going to cut one end off here. And then I want to make sure that I peel this little skin off of the onion before I slice it up, because I'm going to be using my mandolin. So I just have a cheapo mandolin, and you don't have to have a mandolin if you have really good knife skills, which I do not, and you can slice these really thin, then that will totally work. But I'm going to use a mandolin here. I'm going to just put it on the thickest setting, which will still be very thin, and then I just place it on the bowl here, and then we're going to just slice it up. And you need to be very careful with a mandolin. You can wear gloves, they have special gloves to wear, or just use the safety, which I will use once I get lower. But we're just going to slice, and I want to show you, they're going to be about this thickness, okay? So I'm going to just slice all this onions up, and then I'm going to show you the next step. So we've got all our onions sliced, and then we're just going to take a 32-ounce mason jar and we're going to stuff the onions in here. I kind of separate them as I do. And this onion's making me cry. Okay, got them all stuffed in there. So you want a saucepan on medium heat. Then I'm just going to add some white vinegar, equal amounts of water. Then I have some sugar and salt. And we just want to heat it over medium and stir it until it's dissolved. You just want to warm it up until this gets all dissolved, which will just take a couple of minutes. And let the mixture cool for a little bit, but it's still pretty hot. And then you just pour it over the onions. There we go. I'm gonna let this cool a bit before I put it into the fridge, but you want them to refrigerate for about an hour and then they should be ready to eat, but they just get more flavorful as they sit. These will last in your fridge for about 2 weeks. So we're going to start chopping our vegetables, and then I'll show you the very simple dressing that I'm going to put over everything. Okay, now we're going to chop up some veggies, and I'm just going to use what I have here at home. And I've got some bell pepper, cucumber, a carrot, some celery. I've got some frozen roasted corn that I just defrosted real quick, and some edamame. Some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. And then I have a few beans left over from a soup I made, and I'm just going to toss those in as well. There's no set measurements, really, just whatever you feel. I'm going to use my chopper to make these all uniform in size and then just dump them into this bowl here, and then I'm going to show you the really easy dressing I'm going to make. And then here's my chopper, and what I do is I cut them into bigger chunks and then let the chopper dice them. I'll show you, we get nice little chunks like that, which I really like the bite-sized pieces. Now you don't have to use a chopper, but if you don't have great knife skills like me, this just makes my life way easier. All right. Cucumber's done. It'll work the same with carrots, with bell peppers. And as you can see, all uniform little chunks. All right, I'm gonna finish chopping this all up, and then we're gonna throw them in a bowl, and then I'll make the dressing. So I've got everything chopped. The only thing I didn't use my chopper on was, of course, the beans, the edamame, and the tomatoes. So I'm just gonna get this all mixed up. For the dressing, we're gonna start with about a half a cup of Greek yogurt, vegan Greek yogurt. This is my homemade Greek yogurt. I'll leave a link to the recipe below, or you can use store-bought. And then I'm going to do the juice of a lime. And then for seasonings, I'm going to use some onion powder. This is just to taste. Some salt. Some pepper. Little garlic powder. Then let's whisk it all together. And it's going to make this nice thick little dressing. And then I'm just going to put a little dab of maple syrup in. Just a little dab. Then we're going to put the whole thing over the veggies. And then we're just going to toss it till everything gets coated. And then of course I like to add a few little red pepper flakes. If you like a little heat. All right, I'm going to plate this up. Oops, we lost one. I'm going to plate this up and then I'm going to add some red onions on top and then we're going to give it a little taste. Before I continue with the recipe, I just wanted to ask you guys a question. I have gotten a couple comments on this shirt. It's got a Rosie Riveter type lady on the front. She's grasping a bunch of carrots, and I used to sell these t-shirts and then I stopped doing it for a while, but I found a stash of them in a closet and I've got some limited sizes, limited quantities, but would you guys be interested in purchasing one of these t-shirts? I'm thinking about putting them back up for sale, but I don't know who would be interested. I'm going to sell them for about 10 bucks, so you know, not too expensive, and they're really cute and they're soft, and it has the vegan do it on the front, and on the back it's got change your plate, change your fate, and my @ on vegan with a plate with some veggies. It's in the shape of a heart. So I think they're really cute. They're 100% cotton. Let me know in the comments if anybody would be interested, and then I can put them back up on, I think I had them on Etsy, and then I can give you the link to that. So let me know in the comments below. All right, back to the recipe. All right, here we go, finished product. Now let me tell you what you can use this for. This is good just like this on its own. You could put it in a taco, a burrito. You could add lettuce to this and just make it a regular salad. So you can do a few things with this. Let's taste. Those red onions, perfect. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to have a meal that is full of protein and fiber. We talk a lot about protein, but fiber to me is just as important. It helps keep your gut healthy, it helps keep you regular, and those are all good things. And research says meals that are high in fiber can help protect you against certain kinds of cancers, especially colon cancer. So try to up your fiber. I know the recommended daily is about 25%. I do about 35–40% a day. And I've worked up to that, but I feel the best when I'm eating around 40 grams of fiber a day. I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something. And if you did, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you've made it this far in the video, then please comment below with fiber, and that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. Be sure to check out all the information in the description box. The full recipe will be down there with the macros, and also all the services I offer and all my discount codes. Remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you.